Most gardeners have heard that wood ash is powerful, and most have also heard the warnings. It can burn plants, spike soil pH, and wreck beds when used carelessly. That's why, many people avoid it entirely or sprinkle it blindly and just hope for the best. Older gardeners did neither. They discovered a way to tame wood ash so it stopped acting like a shock treatment and started behaving like a slow biological accelerator. When done correctly, this method didn't just feed plants, it woke up soil processes that had been stuck. Growth didn't surge because of brute force nutrients. It surged because the soil suddenly became more efficient at feeding plants on its own. This is where fermented wood ash comes in, and why it earned such a strong reputation in older gardens without leaving damage behind. Raw wood ash is aggressive, but fermentation changes its behavior. Fresh wood ash is highly alkaline and chemically active. When applied directly, it can overwhelm roots, disrupt microbial balance, and lock out nutrients rather than release them. Old gardeners learned quickly that raw ash was a blunt tool. Fermentation softened it. By mixing ash with water and allowing time for microbial and chemical reactions to occur, they transformed it from a harsh input into a buffered soil amendment. During fermentation, soluble compounds stabilize, harsh salts disperse, and biological activity begins to integrate minerals into usable forms. The ash doesn't lose power, it loses volatility. That distinction is everything. Fermentation shifts how nutrients move. Potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals in ash become part of a biological solution rather than a dry chemical load. Microorganisms begin interacting with the mixture long before it touches soil. When applied, the nutrients move through microbial pathways instead of flooding roots directly. This prevents burn while dramatically increasing availability. Plants don't experience a spike, they experience improved access. That's why growth appears fast but remains balanced. Leaves strengthen, stems thicken, and root systems expand without collapsing later. Potassium is the star mineral in wood ash, and it's often misunderstood. It doesn't force growth the way nitrogen does. It improves efficiency. Potassium regulates water movement, enzyme activation, and carbohydrate transport inside plants. When potassium becomes readily available through fermentation, plants suddenly use nutrients more effectively. Photosynthesis improves, sugars move where they're needed, stress tolerance increases, growth speeds up because nothing is bottlenecked anymore. Old gardeners noticed this effect long before soil tests existed. Plants simply looked stronger and more responsive after fermented ash was used. One of the biggest fears around wood ash is pH imbalance. Fermentation, though, reduces this risk by dispersing alkalinity into solution and allowing reactions to occur before soil contact. Instead of dumping dry alkaline material into one spot, fermented ash spreads its influence gently. When applied to soil with organic matter present, microbes further buffer the effect. The result is not a dramatic pH swing, but a subtle shift toward mineral balance. This is why, really, older gardens could use ash repeatedly without turning soil hostile. Old gardeners never applied fermented wood ash randomly. Timing was, absolutely critical. It was used when soil biology was active, but plants weren't under stress. Early morning, cool weather and periods of steady growth were, definitely favored. Fermented ash wasn't a rescue tool for dying plants, it was a performance enhancer for healthy systems. That's why results looked, honestly, quite dramatic. The soil was already functional. The ash simply removed mineral limitations that had been holding growth back. Fermented wood ash takes patience and observation. It doesn't come with instructions on a bag. As gardening shifted toward packaged inputs and fast results, this method quietly disappeared. Raw ash was blamed for problems caused by misuse, and fermentation knowledge faded. The irony is that many modern fertilizers try to recreate the same mineral effects using industrial processes. This method works best in soils already rich in organic matter. Fermented wood ash is not a standalone solution. It's a catalyst. So it enhances microbial activity, improves nutrient flow, and strengthens plant metabolism. But, it really relies on a living soil system to function safely. If it's used occasionally, it sharpens performance without actually creating dependency. That's exactly why old gardens didn't degrade over time. Nothing was ever pushed beyond its capacity. Now, when people say plants grow crazy fast with fermented wood ash, what they're actually seeing is efficiency. The internodes don't stretch excessively and the leaves don't thin out. Instead, plants just move through growth stages smoothly and, confidently. Flowering becomes more reliable and fruiting improves. This is actually the opposite of forced growth. It's what you'd call unlocked growth. That's exactly why older gardeners trusted this method even on long-term beds. Fermented wood ash isn't magic, It's chemistry guided by biology. The real lesson here isn't to chase speed, but rather to remove friction inside the soil system. When minerals become available at just the right pace, plants respond immediately because, they were already trying to grow. Old gardeners didn't force plants forward. They simply removed what was holding them back. If this guide helped you understand why fermented wood ash works so well in older gardens, do subscribe for more soil-first gardening knowledge that actually holds up over time. And, go on, share this with a gardener who's curious about faster growth, but refuses to sacrifice soil health to get it.